Yo, what is going on, YouTube? Tech Tips here, back at it with another YouTube video. In today's video, we'll be talking about my experience with the iPhone 13 Pro Max after a week. And of course, I got the green one. The green one released, and I believe I got it right when it released. The store I bought it at, it didn't have the green one in stock. So they ordered it, and then 2 days later it came in, and then I picked it up. So the video and the audio quality that you are hearing right now comes from the iPhone 13 Pro Max. So we are filming at 1080p at 60 frames per second. And while, yes, while you can film at 4K at 60, I didn't really bother. I don't really feel the need. So yeah, we're just filming at 1080p 60. I've never done this before with front-facing camera because the 8 Plus, my old phone, could only do 1080p 30. If you missed that, I filmed a 4-year experience with the iPhone 8 Plus. Yes, that is correct. I've owned the iPhone 8 Plus for 4 years. And I just traded in for the 13 Pro Max that I've been using for a week. And that's what I want to talk about. So, I can't really show you the phone because I'm using it to film. However, if you guys are interested, I could switch to a different camera and show you guys, like, the phone itself, like I did with the Samsung tablet video. And yes, I still need to do an update. I haven't yet. I've been using it almost every day, maybe, like, every other day. But yeah, I've definitely got a feel for it and tested it out, so I'll definitely be doing an update on that. So, okay, something I regret doing is handing in my iPhone 8 Plus box. They said, like, you won't get any extra money if you give us the box, so you can just keep it. I'm like, nah, why don't you just throw away the box for me? And I just walked away, and they just chucked it in the garbage. I wish I kept it, but because I wanted to compare, because something that I knew it existed, but I'm not really sure why. But yeah, is how thin this box is. So, just take a look. So it's not covered in plastic anymore. Instead, there were 2 pull tabs, so you just pulled and then it released the box. It doesn't come with a charging brick anymore. It comes with a USB Type-C cable. I believe this phone supports up to 20 watts fast charging. It's better than 5, so, SIM ejection tool it comes with. iPhone how-to guide. I believe in both, maybe in a few different languages. English and in a language I don't recognize, so probably different language. Then 1 Apple sticker versus 2 on the 8 Plus. So they've definitely cheaped out on the packaging. Apple claims they don't have the charger in the box. They don't have the earbuds in the box. So yeah, it used to come with a charger, a cable, earbuds, some other stuff. Yeah. And they don't sell that anymore for environmental purposes. But yet, they're selling it separately and using more plastic in the separate packaging than they would if they just throw it in the box. So, the 13 Pro Max is more expensive than the 8 Plus. I think the 8 Plus was sub for 256 gigs. 8 Plus, that was the most expensive one. I think it was under 1,000. I think it was $960. Maybe 99. It was maybe 99. It was certainly under 1,000 though. And I just dropped the Apple sticker. All right. So yeah. Okay, so that's pretty much what's in the box, so nothing. I really wish, and also didn't have plastic wrapped around the phone, so you can get that satisfying plastic peel. So, just, is it really environmental if they're selling the same product using more plastic to package it and selling it for $45 for the charging brick? I don't know. Okay. Anyway, how was my experience with a 13 Pro Max? So, pretty much the first thing, so I transferred everything from my 8 Plus to the 13 Pro Max. And if you wanted an iPhone, transferring it to a different iPhone, you've probably done this before. However, it transferred pretty much everything. It transferred all my apps, all my photos, all my contacts, all my messages. I did have to reinstall the apps, but it still kept my data. Some apps I had to log in. I believe Spotify, most of them, it kept my info. I think Audible might have been the only app I had to log in, but like pretty much every other one I was already logged into, so I'm not really sure what that was about. And it's not like I haven't used it in a while, because I was literally listening to Audible like right before I turned in my 8 Plus, so I'm not really sure why that was. Anyway, so, and also Apple Pay. All Apple Pay settings, well, all Apple Pay payments were deleted, so my debit card, credit card were deleted, but it kept my Starbucks card and some like my Carnival tickets I had. It kept that. And so I had to re-verify the cards, but instead of just using the text option, like last time, I had to call and then verify who I was, answer a bunch of security questions, read out the card number, answer all. I had to hold for like an hour, so that was very annoying. Not really sure why that was, but I had to do it, so that kind of sucks. Okay, so what else? So an obvious verification is, or an obvious difference between the 13 Pro Max and the 8 Plus is Touch ID versus Face ID. Which one do I prefer? Well, I like them both, and I dislike them both, so I really wish I had both. Like, even, like, the cheap Samsungs still have both of them, and they work very, very well. So, Face ID is nice when I'm wearing gloves, or when it's, like, raining, it's really wet, and it won't register, like, the Touch ID. So Face ID is nice for that. Or if I have, like, stuff on my hands, it won't register. Face ID, it works well for that. However, I know it didn't work when I was wearing a mask. Or it used to not work. Now with iOS 15.4, it now works. However, before it didn't work, which was, I imagine, very, very annoying. However, so something I didn't really think of, but now it kind of makes sense, is wearing sunglasses. So typically, like, you have to Face ID, it works just by scanning the surface of your face, which technically, well, Apple claims it is more secure. They claim 1 in 1 million people could get into your phone, and then with Face ID, that is, and then with Touch ID, it's 1 in 50,000 can get into your phone. So on paper, it definitely sounds more secure to have Face ID. I still wish I had them both, because, I mean, Apple is charging high-end phone prices, but not offering the same features as Samsung. I really wish they had the ultrasonic fingerprint scanner, or they could make the power button a fingerprint scanner. They could easily do that, but they don't. Yeah, okay. So, sunglasses. I literally, so like in like the bright sun, I either have to type in my password, or just go like that. With clear glasses, you don't have to do that because it can see your eyes, so that is quite nice, but that's pretty much the problem I've had. Or if you're wearing like a ski mask, that's also not going to work. So Touch ID. Well, I mean, if you're wearing a ski mask, you're probably also wearing gloves. So, I mean, so maybe neither of them would work. But yeah, so I wish I had them both. I mean, Face ID, yeah, I kind of like it. I also have some problems with it. Same with Touch ID. They're both good, but neither of them are perfect. I can't really say which one I like more. I like having the all-screen display, like with the newer iPhones, like the 13 Pro Max. But they could easily have an ultrasonic underscreen fingerprint scanner like the Samsung. Yeah. So anyway, so I'd say that's about the same Touch ID versus Face ID. The speakers are about the same. I haven't really, maybe like the 13 Pro Max are slightly more clear, but it really still isn't, so it's not really noticeably louder, and if, like, you want, like, a ton of people to hear your music, you'll have to bring a speaker, so that really hasn't changed. I know there's plenty of Android phones that are way better, but the iPhone isn't. Software experience, it's the same software, but I definitely like having the gestures way more, because I feel like I can just open and close apps so much better. And while I'm talking about apps, this might be a good time to talk about RAM. So on the 8 Plus, I had 3 gigabytes of RAM. The 8 had 2. The 8 Plus and 10 had 3. And then on the 13 Pro Max, as well as the 12 Pro Max and 12 Pro and 13 Pro, you have 6 gigabytes of RAM. That is very nice. That is definitely nice. On the 8 Plus, I mean, I couldn't have apps running in the background because they would just close on me. So there would be really no point. I tried to reopen it, even if it's already running, it would just close again. I'm on an app, I open my phone again, and that's to reload on the 8 Plus with its 3 gigabytes of RAM. So 3 gigabytes of RAM really isn't enough. 6 gigabytes of RAM, so this one doesn't really do that. It's not that bad. If I'm playing a graphically intensive game, yes, it does reload. Unfortunately, I wish Apple could throw in more RAM, especially if they are charging a premium price. But yeah, I mean, it definitely, yeah, I wish they had more RAM. However, in terms of power, they have their A15 Bionic, which is a 5-core chip, versus the 8 Plus had a 3-core chip on the A11 Bionic. The A15 Bionic by Apple is arguably, it's maybe not even arguable. I'd say it is the most powerful chipset on any iPhone. So if they had like an Exynos chip or a Qualcomm Snapdragon chip on the iPhone with its 6 GB RAM, it would be way slower. But luckily, the, I guess, lower amount of RAM definitely is boosted by the amazing power of the A15 Bionic. And for the first time in Apple's history, the Pro series, the 13 Pro, and the 13, I see a lot of people getting this mixed up by, like, they say it has the same processor, so performance-wise, it's going to be the same. Well, no, because they're both called the same. It is frustrating. They're both called the same, but one of them has 4 graphical cores. The 13 and 13 mini have 4 graphical cores. The 13 Pro and 13 Pro Max have 5 graphical cores. So if you are doing anything that needs graphical cores, or certainly will use them, definitely that is a reason to go with the 13 Pro Max. In terms of storage, it does default at 128 gigabytes across all of the 13 series. However, if you are shooting ProRes RAW in 4K, you will need at least 256 gigabytes. That is the option I went with. And yeah, it's definitely nice to have the extra storage, especially with the cloud storage. It definitely is nice. Typically, I could get away with 128 gigabytes if I was like careful what I downloaded, deleted stuff after I was done using it, and had like pretty much all the cloud storage I needed. Which does cost extra money if you want cloud storage. So yeah, certainly going to be less with cloud storage, even if you keep the phone for a few years, than it would just to like max out the phone storage. So you can go up to 1 terabyte, which is nice. I mean, I could just have everything on the phone if I had 1 terabyte. But, yeah, it's, in my opinion, the price wasn't worth it to me, but I can certainly, like, there are some, like, good arguments why you need that much storage, especially if you're, like, shooting video, you're editing the video, everything you want at, like, 4K, the highest detail. Storage adds up super quickly, especially when you're shooting videos. I remember I had the 6S Plus, and even shooting at, like, 4K 30 wasn't the most quality video. So it would just eat up any available storage I had left, which was super annoying. But yeah, anyway, in terms of performance, yeah, I've certainly noticed a difference with the 13 Pro Max with gaming. Maybe it might be part of that 120 hertz, even though most games don't support it. There are more and more that are supporting it. Call of Duty does support it, but you have to lower the graphical detail, which is kind of unfortunate because I don't know. The A15 Bionic is a powerful chip, so I wish it at least let us to try, and then I could like fully utilize all that power and test to see how it works. Just like when I'm building a computer, you're free to play on whatever graphical settings you want to. So yeah, if I had like, it is nice having 13 Pro Max, and I will certainly, maybe, like, soon, I'll, like, switch to my overhead webcam, and then actually, like, show you the phone in person. It is nice. The first few days, I didn't have a case with it, so when I, like, was, like, using it, I was, like, scared I would drop it, but the stainless steel sides are very, very grippy, and it's like a mirror, like, you can, like, see your reflection in the stainless steel sides, which is pretty crazy. Yeah, so it's a good looking phone, and with like the frosted glass back, I got a case on it the next day, but it wasn't like, even without the case, it wasn't slipping on my hands, but even like, I didn't want to risk it, because, I mean, if it did break, that would not be good. Yeah, so 13 Pro Max, I know I got it 6 months later. I just kind of, I don't know, felt like upgrading. So the green is definitely my favorite color. I was interested in the Sierra Blue, but then it went out. Or sorry, they were still in stock, but they didn't really have, it wasn't as dark as the Aqua Blue or the Ocean, whatever it's called, on the 12 Pro Max, which I asked about the 12 Pro Max, but they said, my carrier said it would be the same price as the 13 Pro Max, being 120 hertz, like a bunch of other different features, which was very nice. So in terms of features, the only thing I really miss of the 8 Plus is 3D Touch, and I know a lot of people say, well, I never even used 3D Touch. I used it pretty much all the time when I'm texting. When I, like, make an error, I just, like, force press and then correct the error. With the 13 Pro Max, you have, you can still hold the spacebar to do it, but, I mean, it certainly, I know it ended with the, I believe the 10S and 10S Max were the last phones to support it, and the 10R didn't even support it, and then every phone since then didn't support it. So, that is unfortunate. Yeah. But, anyway, I miss 3D Touch. I miss it quite a bit, and that's the one feature I wish I had on this phone that I don't. I've really been enjoying the camera. I've been enjoying that ultra-wide, enjoying that 3 times telephoto lens versus the 8 Plus 2 times telephoto lens. I've been enjoying gaming on this phone. I get a 6.7-inch display versus 5.5-inch display. Still 12 megapixels, but you get 3 cameras, a telephoto, a standard, and a wide, ultra-wide telephoto. All of them being 12 megapixels. You have a 12 megapixel front-facing camera. It's capable up to 4K at 60. The 8 Plus has a 7 megapixel camera. It's capable up to 1080p 30. So even this camera, I'm filming at 1080p at 60, so you should notice a difference when you're watching this video. Okay, so what else? Well, I guess that's it. You get an OLED display versus an LCD display. So you get true blacks on this phone versus the 8 Plus. Dark mode doesn't really save battery life, or it doesn't at all, because it's an LCD display, so it has to, like, fake the blacks. So yeah, you know, I hear a lot of people saying, who have, like, say, non-OLED displays, and then they say, oh, just turn on dark mode because it saves battery life. No, it doesn't. It only does that on an OLED display, and the reason why is because it can turn off individual pixels manually. So, yeah, the iPhone 13 Pro Max, it has a notch. It, kind of wish it had the hole punch display, but it doesn't. The notch is 20% smaller. I notice even when I'm in full screen and the notch cuts into my content, I don't really care too much, because, I mean, it's not really cutting into, like, anything important, or at least that's what I feel like, and if it is, I just zoom out, and then the notch doesn't cut into my content that way. But I do get the black bars, which would be the same as watching it from an 8 Plus, even though I do get a bigger display. The phone size itself is the exact same. It feels, if you take a 11 Pro Max, or sorry, a 13 Pro Max, and an 8 Plus, you close your eyes, they would feel exactly the same. Well, the 13 Pro Max, I think it's... The 8 Plus was like 210, the 13 Pro Max is 240, sorry. Yeah, so you get way better battery life on the 13 Pro Max. This thing really just never dies. I was, like, I can use it for the entire day, and I still have, like, 70% left, which is absolutely crazy. I do still try to, like, keep the phone between 50 and 100%, and of course, or 50 and 90%, and to just save battery health, which, yeah, I'd recommend doing. Battery health will wear down. It's just the more charge cycles you do, the more it will wear down, but you can still slow it down, which is what I'm trying to do. So yeah, battery life, it's a massive, massive improvement. If you watched Mr. Boss's Who's the Boss, Mr. Who's the Boss battery life test, you will notice that his phone lasted over 10 hours. A bunch of other tests lasted around 10 hours. You could charge this phone, and with light to moderate usage, just like last an entire weekend. So that's definitely nice. Charging speed, it's still, even with the 20 watts, it still is reasonably fast. So yeah, that's definitely good. So yeah, battery life, definitely an improvement. Okay, so yeah, overall, do I like the 13 Pro Max? Yeah, it's great. I definitely recommend it to you if you are in the market for a new phone, and if you're wondering if you should just wait for the 14 Pro Max, of course, you're welcome to do that. I believe it will be launching in, like, October or November, and it is rumored that it will be more expensive. It will be like a few $100s more. I'm not sure if that's true, but a lot of people are saying that it will be. So keep that in mind. The 14 Pro Max, of course, with a new generation, it's going to be better. Probably not by a lot compared to the 13. But you certainly, or it is expected that you will be paying more. So if you want the best phone now, I'd say 13 Pro Max. I know you can also get the S22 Ultra, which is, it's fun. I should probably be talking about on my channel more. Yeah, so 13 Pro Max, do I regret it? Getting it? Definitely not. I'm happy with it. I've used it for a week. I can literally, like, whatever I do, even, like, when I'm gaming at full brightness, max speakers, it's still, like, not really draining. Like, I could game for, like, a really long time, and battery life would still be in the 90s. Which, like, on the 8 Plus, it would, like, die pretty fast. On an 8 Plus, I literally had to, like, charge it I had to charge it sometimes multiple times, when I'm gaming, but even, like, when I'm using, like, a fitness tracker app or listening to a podcast, it still drains super, super fast. So even, like, when I'm at the gym using my phone for, like, a 2-hour workout, I leave the phone at 100%, I come back, it's at 10%. So the 8 Plus, it takes out battery life super, super fast. And yes, I know my battery health wasn't at 100% with the 8 Plus, but even when it was, it still wasn't like the 13 Pro Max. The 13 Pro Max is absolutely amazing. At battery, I'd say the most impressive thing about the 13 Pro Max is the battery life. Even, like, that 120 hertz, I always have it enabled. I have 5G always enabled. It's the other thing, I got 5G, and I got Wi-Fi 6, so the fastest Wi-Fi, or not, the 6.1 is the fast, but it's really fast Wi-Fi. I got 5G, super, super fast, 120 hertz, gaming, speakers on max, brightness on max, and the phone, I still can't kill it in a day. And it really never heats up. I don't game while I'm charging. I wouldn't recommend doing that just because the battery health will degrade faster if you do that. So if your phone is dying, I would recommend just turning off your game, plugging it in, and once it's charged, then unplugging it and then game. Because, I mean, if you're charging and gaming at the same time, it's going to build up a ton of heat, and it certainly will degrade your battery health a lot faster. But yeah, okay, that's been it for this video. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you made it this far, 2 gold stars for you. And I'll make an update video where I actually, like, use the phone and, like, show you guys, like, the actual performance. It's definitely good. But yeah, if you have a video suggestion that you want me to make, I'll definitely be sure to do that. And until next time, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys, and peace out.